Hello there, it's Moira. Moira from wellnesswithmoira.com. I wanted to record a video here for you to teach you some techniques to help you, number one, to help you feel more balance and more harmony in your life, but to also feel more engaged with what it is you're wanting to do, what is your soul's calling, what is your purpose. All too often, and this is where the exercise I'm going to teach you today are ones that I've developed to help my clients when they get so caught up in the worry, the ruminating, the oftentimes we are our own worst enemy, and we create a lot of this stress that we then feel like it's outside of us, but really we created it simply because of the sort of the inner dialogue, the shoulda, woulda, coulda, inner voices. So I've always said that I believe that we are all multiple personalities. And in that, what I'm talking about is you can relate to maybe the inner voice that says you're not ready for that, or you're not smart enough to do that, or other people get it and you work on it and then you give up. Or a lot of people will tell me things like, oh, I'm a procrastinator, or I don't have the motivation to do what it takes to get to my goals or my intentions. So the thing is that these techniques are designed to help you unpack those pieces and help you realize that you are the wise, very wise viewer. You're the witness of all of that. And so the first tip for you is when you feel yourself sabotaging or criticizing yourself, I encourage you to just write it down. If this is something that continues for a long period of time, you know, when you're saying, okay, I'm going to create this change, like maybe I'm going to take on a new habit. So I'm going to take on a habit of meditating every day. And then tomorrow happens and in your mind you don't do it, and it's like, well, of course you didn't do it, kind of inner dialogue. Just write that down. Let it go and witness that was that part, that judgy part of you, and just watching it, letting it go. And then, so the first step is to recognize that inner dialogue and have some gratitude for it, because here's the other part of this, is that sometimes those inner dialogue pieces or patterns are coming from your subconscious mind, and it's based upon something that your subconscious mind may have installed for you between the ages of 0 and 7, and to keep you safe based on that kind of environment where you were. And so an example I like to give on that is that as a child, my father was always very angry, and so I can remember setting up ways of being to keep him happy. And so then that in my adult life translates to me being a people pleaser. So just see, is there patterns like that come up? And it's not right or wrong. It's not just to say you have to get rid of these, because I don't think these patterns ever really go away, but it's by being aware of them, then they're not the driver, you are. So that's what this is about, is to actually say, okay, thank you. And that's the other part, is to have some gratitude, because then you can witness and say, well, okay, at that time it kept me safe, so thank you for that. But now I don't need that pattern. So this is to create this uplifting inner dialogue for you. Now the next part of this exercise is to maybe, because the chatter might continue running on, so I encourage you to fashion some mantras. I like to use some mantras so that when you're focusing on repeating something to yourself, something uplifting, then you can then be released from the grasp of that, oh my gosh, what about this, or you're not this, or you are that kind of inner dialogue, right? So when I talk about mantras, it's to focus on your breathing. And so on a full in breath, you say I am in your mind. And then on an out breath, you decide what feels the most nurturing to you. I encourage you to use things like worthy, enough, kindness, capable, wise, awesome. So you could so it's like, I am enough. A lot of my clients like that one, I am enough, because those inner voices are often trying to say you are not. There's something lacking, there's something missing, there's something you need to or could be doing better. So it's that inner critic. So the inner critic, if you want to bring them down, the best thing to, in my mind, is to say mantras like breathe in and breathe out enough, and I am enough, and just keep doing that. Or worthy, or capable, or wise, or in harmony, or balanced. So play around with them. And the other one that's really powerful is if there's feelings of lack or betrayal or sadness, you might want to say I am love, and just breathe in I am, breathe out love, and just keep doing that. And what this does is it allows you to have those voices or those thoughts or those emotions, but then you're not saying I am that, right? So if you have a feeling of being irritated or something, right, you could then be I am harmony, or I am at peace. Then you're sort of showing up for that emotion, but you're letting it come through. So then you're the vessel that feels that emotion and lets it go. So I hope that makes sense and that serves you. So being very mindful of the emotions and the thoughts that come up for you is an important part of mindfulness, because it's not to shove things away or to pretend they're not happening, but then work on taking that step back and being the witness to what's happening. Because something that I also believe is that all of the emotions that we go through, if you think of an emotional scale where you've got joy and ecstasy at the top and hopelessness and helplessness at the bottom, and then there's a whole array of emotions in between. Each one of those emotions are demanding our respect. So we need to respect the emotions as they come in, and it's just like a wave, right? Then you get, okay, and you keep breathing, and you might use a breathing mantra of I am, and you create your own, to actually just feel through it. And what you'll find is that they shift through faster, because you don't want to resist what you're thinking or what you're feeling, because you've probably heard that saying, what you resist persists. And so it's just to flow with, be like a wee bit of I like to think of us as being a wee bit of a spiritual detective. And from that perspective, we're looking at how things trigger or unfold in our experience, and then just let it go, let it flow, using your breath, always coming back to your breath. So I hope that makes sense and that serves you. The other tip that I'd like to teach you here is it's a technique that I've developed to help people sit into those little bit more uncomfortable types of emotions, that, feeling like suffering or feeling suffering, anguish, anxiety, hopelessness. And so here's the steps to this are very simple, because of course if we're in those kind of emotions, we don't want lots of complicated things, because you're not going to bring them into your experience very easily. So here's the thing, is that if you're having an emotion like this, like I say, that's further down on that emotional scale, the key piece is that you, the core of you, deserves your own compassion, deserves compassion, love, unconditional love. And how we give that to ourselves is through physical touch. I read a report recently that said that our unconscious mind does not know the difference between us being hugged by someone externally, somebody giving you a hug, or us hugging ourselves. And so that is really beautifully empowering. So for me, I like to put my hands over my heart. That immediately gives me a sense of compassion, of being nurtured and loved. So here's the ideas that I want to share with you is you find your best way to feel that. So it could be putting your hands over your heart, or giving yourself that hug, or even just clasping your hands together. But it has to be a physical touch. You could even cradle your head, cradle your face. So you find whatever feels best for you, that feels most nurturing to you. And then you say words like, this is a moment of. So let's say I'm feeling really anxious. Okay, so then I go into, this is what I like to do. And I focus on breathing, because in the moment, this is all I can do, right? Is focus on breathing. And then I can say, and I can say this out loud or internally. If I'm alone, I probably would say it out loud. If there's people around or I don't want to be heard, I could say it internally in my mind. But you say, this is a moment of anxiety. Or this is a moment of whatever it is you're feeling. This is a moment of feeling really upset. This is a moment of complete grief. This is a moment of feeling frustrated, of suffering in some way. Okay? So you're breathing and you're kind of giving honor to this. This is a moment of feeling this. It's not saying it's staying forever or I'm stuck here. But you see, you're doing this comfort part, so it gives you a little, this is helping your resilience to kind of come through it. Especially when you realize this is just a moment of that. Because anything can change in any moment, right? And so continuing, and you can do this, you can stop at every step of this exercise that I'm teaching you, this technique that I'm teaching you. You can stay in these steps for as long as you feel that you need or that you have at that moment. So this is a moment of whatever it is you're feeling. And continuing to hold that nurturing, loving position that's yours, you then say something to the effect of, there are many moments like this in life, or life is made up of moments like this. So now you see what you've done is you've acknowledged it, that this is what you're experiencing, and this is a moment of it, and then you're putting it further out. It's more of an expansive thing, so it's not so heavy, imploded on you kind of feeling. So you're acknowledging there's moments like this. I can't sort of pretend that they're not. Whether they are your moments or not, you're just, because you're part of the whole, and so you're acknowledging and recognizing there's other moments like this, okay? So now you can maybe start feeling that this is lightening up, and you're still focusing on nice, deep belly breathing. And then when you're ready to move on to the next step, you're going to ask yourself something like, what could I do for myself that will help me feel more love, or some kind, or feel, how can I be kinder to myself? How can I invite softness into this moment? Or even, what can I do to help me move up to the next better feeling? You know, if you're going to move up from anxiety, it can, I don't know, boredom can sometimes be something that's higher than anxiety. But just to see, how can I lift myself up a little bit, or how can I introduce more kindness to this whole experience? And then see, now because you're doing this compassion holding, you know, hugging yourself or giving yourself love, you will always get some kind of intuitive guidance from your own core. And so, you know, when I was developing this, I've been using this technique on myself and with my clients for many years. And back in the beginning, and it kind of still happens for me now, I would just get something simple like move, change positions, do some stretching, have a cup of tea, go outside, go for a walk. So any of those, so you want it, so because the answer is going to come immediately, and it will be something loving, nurturing, and something that you will actually be able to do in that moment, right? So it could be go for meditation, start using some of these mantras that Moira just told you how to use. And then go do that, and then you can come back to this anytime you need to. It's so quick and easy to use these tools on an ongoing basis. So whatever you need to do to help you anchor this in, like you could maybe even write down these steps I just said to you, right? Find your position, the thing that makes you feel nurtured and cared for. Focusing on your breathing, and the things that you say are, this is a moment of, and you fill in the blank. Life is made up of moments like this, or there are many moments like this that make up life, something like that. And then what can I do that will make me feel nurtured, or what can I do to be kinder to myself, or what can I do to move myself up to the next better feeling? And then you're going to get your guidance, go make a cup of tea, go do some yoga, go meditate, whatever it is, and go do that. And then watch, and this is like to see your own pattern. And you know, when people do that, they often find that because they've done it with so much respect for the whole experience, it doesn't come back again. Not to say you're not going to have any kind of moment like that again, but it'll be different. So it's like an evolution of these different things that you are coming through and wanting to experience. So I hope that serves you. Like I said, my website is wellnesswithmoira.com. So if there's any questions, please make sure you pop over to that website and let me know if I can be of any further help to help you visit, acknowledge, unconditionally accept all of those inner voices and be the driver of your own bus. I hope this serves you well. Thanks for watching.